Welcome back to the studios of LEB TV, another Brennon Willard podcast brought to you by Schaefer's Oil and by Lakeside Auto Repair. I'm Kevin Stubblefield, and as we get to end of the month of August, man, it's like old times, B. We're talking about I-44 Speedway racing on the asphalt for you. How'd that go Saturday?
It went okay. I mean, we were disappointed in the outcome, but it's okay. It was just fun to be back, and overall, I guess you got to look at it big picture. I'm looking at it as a competitor, and I suck at losing. But I just, to have pace, we had really good pace, especially early in the day in the heat. And lost a drive shaft very into practice, and then we're just barely able, we got lucky that it was the same length drive shaft that was in my dirt car, so we literally had spares for it. I didn't have a spare part one with me for the pavement car. But all in all, it was a great experience, top to bottom. We had a good time. They had an awesome crowd, great turnout. The race was good. Everybody talked about it was exciting to watch. So
55 cars.
Yeah, that was good. It was good. You go from the dirt, and you go from one world to the other, and to mix one, we always joked around. I said we got to name this thing turning right, going left. Well, now you can't do that because we're running pavement too. Dirt, you're wheel lock to the right. You whip the car in. You're just a whole different animal than pavement, and then the racing's different too. But all in all, I thought the Crown Vic race was awesome, and that's a double-edged sword because when those guys got their tires wore out, the last 10 to 15 laps of that 44-lapper, they were, guys and girls, they were sliding all over the place. It was fun to watch. Just, they had their hands full. And, you can't do that every week because they're just junk tires. But, man, tire wear is good. And I-44 has changed, and that was what, honestly, I wanted to know, too, is I'm watching the races from tier parking and just enjoying it being a fan. And I'm like, why aren't they running this line? Why is this lap time different? Why is, what's changed? And the amount has changed in technology and what they're doing on their setups and just what's changed in the world of asphalt racing's been a lot. And just like dirt, I mean, if you go back 5 years on dirt and from the, the setups we were running when I first started dirt racing to now has changed a lot as well. So, it was different, but we had a good time. Really good, 11 cars isn't great, but it's growing. And I think they're going to have 12 to 13 in a couple weeks. We're going to run 50 laps for 2,000 to win. The track announced yesterday, so that's awesome. We'll be there August 16th for back to school night. So I'm excited. We're going to figure out what caused the drive shaft to break because it did the same kind of issue kind of happened in the feature again, and we were just tight. And I'm not making excuses. We got our ass beat, but just we're going to get better and hopefully do a little bit better next time out. But Dylan's fast, and they're not giving him credit for, Dylan's going out and he's running ASA races and running the top. I think he was in the top 10 when he broke in the Redbud 400, and that's a big deal. Be like running the top 10 in the Show Me 100. Same crown jewel race, same thing. So he's running well and doing a really, really good job. And, Dylan was my former crew chief on dirt.
Absolutely.
It's cool to see him do what he's doing and excel. And, Jimmy Phone got a really good start and led early there. They got a little bit different rule on restart or on starts there that I don't like, but I guess whatever. The leader's supposed to start the race, but there's a zone. I don't know. It is what it is, but I will find out what the actual rule is, and I'll go by that rule. So just different, that put us behind, but it wouldn't have mattered. Dylan was I feel like, going to beat us anyways. So Joe Ross was really fast, and that was good to see. And Joe has done a lot for asphalt racing and does a lot behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. And Joe just was a really good guy and a good racer. And he had a good night. Terry Limberopoulos was back for, I think it was his first night back. And then the Snyder car from Kansas City, that guy went for a ride. Holy crap. But I was glad to see he's okay. But it was fun to watch. The Bandoleros were fun to watch. I hadn't got to see those guys race, those kids race yet. That I enjoyed that. And we signed a lot of autographs and saw a lot of kids and had a lot of fun. So it was, I think we didn't get home till like 1 a.m. Just a lot of people came down to the pits after the races and hung out, and it's good seeing old friends. And saw Coach White, my old baseball coach, come down, and just a lot of friends. So it was the fun part of racing at home. Just you always want to win, but that's okay. We're ready to go for we'll get ready to go for round 2 there on the 16th, but focus back on dirt this week.
Yep, back to the Mars schedule. Sycamore, Illinois on Friday, and then Macon on Saturday.
Long ways from home, but back on the road. I have been to Sycamore and 4 years ago, and we actually had a really good run going there and broke a rear end in the middle of the feature there. But from what I remember, it was a really good racetrack. I think it's supposed to be extremely hot, so that can make it challenging at both racetracks for everybody this weekend. So we'll see. But no, excited to be back. Going on the Mars tour, just kind of, it's weird that kind of more in your element on dirt right now than you are pavement, right? But everybody be familiar with it and get back in the swing of things and try to get some momentum going. We've got a lot of we're now into our swing. So, here we go. We race this weekend, then we'll go race pavement on our off weekend, and then back to Illinois to Kankakee and I think Red Hill the weekend after that. And then we go, I don't know if we got a weekend off or if we go straight into Labor Day. I'm not sure. But then the Labor Day Labor Day weekend show off one weekend. And then we race the whole month of September with the added Power I date at Midway, September 26th and 27th. We're racing like 5 weeks straight. So to end the Mars season. So it'll be fun, and you come to race and you get ready for it, and we are, I think our cars are prepared, and we had a couple off weeks there. Our guys in the shop really busted their butt. Tyler's doing a great job. He's been a great addition to our team and just doing a good job. So he's getting in the swing of things. That was his first ever pavement race. So he had a whole week of learning and figuring that out, and Greg I don't think had never crewed for sure a car on pavement. So they had a different world, and it was back to a little bit of my element, but then, I'm just so more comfortable on dirt right now, just what you do, and you've just got used to it. So, and truth be told, I ran more dirt races in my life than I have pavement races. You just race more. So it's just the way it is. And but really, ready to get back in the swing of things and get back going.
Well, at I-44, want to find out, how did you handle your first time going into a Calamity Corner?
We were good. I thought it would take we went and tested Thursday night, and I was like, man, it's going to take a long time to get up to speed, but it didn't. Like, the car was they did a good job getting the car ready, and the car was, Hamke's doing a great job with their cars, and, Brandon and Ernest have been with him for years on shocks and stuff and on the pavement side. And we actually did some dirt stuff together too, but Brandon just does a great job, and Cody Glick and everybody at Hamke's really got their program figured out. And it was, Tony Jackson helped us out a ton Thursday night, and we went down there, and he just was like, you're not going to have much trouble in figuring this out. It'll come back to you. And I didn't think that. I thought it would take a while, but where we struggled was racing, and that's where, track condition. Lebanon is tricky, and you forget like what to do. It was very cool Saturday night, unusually cool, and if it had been hot and slick, it would have went right into our favor. And it was hot and slick during the day. Sun shines out. It's 85 degrees, and our car was awesome. And then I didn't adjust the car for 70 and no sun and cool, and that was my fault there, but just not knowing. And that was the biggest part, is sailing the car off into the corner. I think it took like 3 laps, just to be like, okay, I remember this. This is, the biggest adjustment was heat, just getting used to being back in a hotter race car again. But I need to give Dylan, I was giving Dylan a little bit of a hard time. He's got a dang cool suit. Like but a 400 lap race, you need those. But we'll have a water bottle in the car the next time. I'm getting old. But we're used to, the 30 lap race was about the right race for me. It was just, if we'd have had a heat race, I think it would have helped us. But everybody was on the same racetrack, same tires, same format, and we got our butts kicked. So we'll be ready for a 50 lapper coming up, which that'll be good. Like, it's just different. Pavement, the longer is set up for longer races, and that's, the art of pavement racing is a 50 lap race. It's going to take an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. So your crowd is going to be engaged into that race. And that's where you have to like explain to the crowd, if you go to a dirt race, it's a 30 lap feature usually, or 40 lap feature that's going to take, that's what helps running Mars and specials all the time is, hey, I ran a 30 lap feature Saturday night at Lebanon. That was shorter. My normal is a 40. So we are used to longer races on dirt, but it's, and that was the part that kind of shocked me too, was like, I thought, well, you're going to be sore. You used to be pretty tired at the end of the races just because it's just different. But, dirt, you're really physical for those 40 laps. So it's just different. But asphalt's different. It's 50 laps. You have to maintain your tires, and tire wear becomes an issue. Where dirt, you just got to go, and then you got to search. And that was where I felt like I struggled a little bit with searching, and hey, can we go high? Can we go low? Like, you can't do that. You have to figure your car out, and your car runs where your car's going to run. And it might move up a little bit here and there as your tires build heat and build air pressure. But it was a lot of fun, and picked right back up, I guess, where we left off, and ready to go back.
Be interesting to see when you get back in the dirt car this weekend, how you readapt to that. If there's any process that you have to go through.
I felt like dirt helps your pavement more than your pavement racing will help your dirt, but I do feel like there's a couple things that I'm like, hey, I remember when I transitioned to dirt racing, I was better at that, at a couple different things on the dirt side that I am now. And I'm like, you need to get back to doing that. You need to get back to entering a certain way. And on pavement, you have to arc the entry of the corner, or in dirt, it's becoming more and more critical to do that. And you can't chop your entry. Well, if you chop your entry on dirt, now you're in trouble. Or, on asphalt, the same way. You have to really arc your entry. So I think it will help. I don't think, I'm the believer, you look at Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell and those guys, like, if you can race anything, it's going to help you in whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I think that will, instead of having a weekend off, we went and got in a race car of something, actually for 3 days in a row, and then really got some laps and tried to figure some things out. So be fun to get back and hold the car wide open again for a couple of laps anyways on Friday night at Sycamore.
That August 16th race at I-44 got the Baby Grands also coming in. So that's going to be a big night, isn't it?
And they says the highest paying Baby Grand race they've ever had anywhere. So that'll be cool for them.
44 is a great track for Baby Grands.
It really is. It's just perfect for them. And we had some guys up from out of town that are going to race for the next few weeks. And that's what he was like, man, you can pass here. It's got it's multi-groove. You can race. It's one of the best pavement racetracks. It's the best as far as being able to race top to bottom, move around. You've got 2 to 3 grooves. You can race side by side. In the feature, you could be side by side with somebody and not kill your lap time and race hard and clean and really have a good time. So that's what's nice about that. And especially the Baby Grands, they can go 3-4 wide, and it's so wide, and just maintain pace and keep digging. So it'll be fun to watch them.
That's a great track for the small cars and also the big rigs, too. It's just a great racetrack overall.
It is. That would be neat. We're out of town. We're in Davenport, Iowa that weekend, but the big rig race coming to I-44 on the September 13th. Like, if you don't have your tickets, the suites are already sold out, I think. If you can buy your tickets in advance, I would suggest doing that. There is a lot of demand for that event. That doesn't interest me at all, but
It's a spectacle, though.
It is. It is a spectacle, and I look at it like I'd much rather watch the late model feature that night than that. Like, why do you people want to watch this? But it's different. It's something you haven't seen. So they've got that coming up. They've got a lot of big stuff coming up. So that's good. And, this weekend's a big weekend. Regional dirt racing in our area, and it sucks we're on the road, is Monette and Springfield both have the Revival Late Model Series, super late models at Springfield Saturday night. So if you are in town, go to Springfield Saturday night. They have super late models there. Tony and I will not be there locally. Everybody else, I think, locally will be there. And it'll be a great show and just an awesome series they've got started. Jerry Hoffman's taking a risk on putting a big purse like that up. And so it sucks driving 7 hours when you can drive 2 in 1. But we made a commitment, and we're going to stick to our commitment there and keep going what we're doing.
Midway Speedway, they got the Tony Roper Memorial rescheduled and in last weekend. They had 79 cars and 27 late models for that event.
Great show. Dusty Atkinson got the win.
Yep.
Big win for him. And he's not had the season he wanted. And I think that kind of helped him get his season back on track. And one of the biggest paying, if not the biggest paying race on the 4-state schedule. So a big win for him, and cool to see that happen.
Yep.
Glad that money stayed in Lebanon.
Absolutely. You got the Gary Woodall Memorial coming up this coming Friday on August the 8th. And Gary, a renowned figure in racing circles around this area. I worked with him a little bit at I-44 Speedway. He passed way too soon, but nice to honor his memory.
It is. It's a pretty cool race they've got for him. And then the Bill Ragland Memorial is coming up at Midway too. So they've got those events along with the Power Nationals is the end of September. So they've got a lot of big things coming. Now, Wheatland's got the Fall Nationals. They've got Labor Day weekend, obviously, and then the Fall Nationals there in October, as well as the USRA Nationals. So there's, if you like racing, obviously you probably do. You wouldn't be listening to this. So if you're a race fan, especially in our area, you got a lot coming up with, I know football season's 2 or 3 weeks away, but we're right in the heart of big money races coming up all around the area, so it'd be cool to watch.
Well, NASCAR playoffs are coming up in a couple of weeks too. Want to mention Lucas? They had the USMTS Touring Series last Saturday. 82 cars in for that, and Kyle Strickler out of Mooresville, North Carolina, was the winner. I remember at I-44 there was a driver a couple of years ago that came in from Mooresville, North Carolina, and cleaned everybody's clock. So that's a pretty good area for
very good
talented
area.
Racers to come in.
Yeah, Kyle's a very good racer and won a lot of big dirt late model races, and a great modified shoe, and went back USMTS racing this year. So they switched. I know it was a Cade Dillard card. I don't know if he's had those cars all year or not. I can't remember, but really not surprised to see him win at all. So big win for him, and USMTS is a pretty cool little series going around. That's the best modifieds in the United States, and there was a lot of good cars there last weekend, and it's awesome to see him get a win, and be cool to see a lot of those guys will be at the USRA Nationals just because that's what sanctions USMTS, kind of like UMP and World of Outlaws. So a lot of big mod stuff coming up, and we had planned that, and that was kind of the route we were looking at originally, was to be with the mod and that, but went back pavement, took the mod, sold it, went back pavement racing. So excited to get back on that again, and that was a lot of fun just to change up and something different. My daughter's still not an asphalt fan. We got to get her converted, but we'll see how that goes.
NASCAR, they go north on the road course to Watkins Glen this weekend. So for everything, Xfinity and trucks also.
Big weekend there. Iowa had a sellout 2-day. The Busch race or Xfinity race was sold out. Hopefully Busch comes back. I think there's a chance of that happening next year, but Xfinity coming, the Xfinity race was sold out, and the Cup race. So awesome to see that, and camping, everything sold out. So good for them. Former, Craig Armstrong used to be at I-44 Speedways up there, and kind of really awesome racetrack. NASCAR's got to fix their short track program. I watched the end of that race, waiting on. I thought there's no way Byron's going to hold that lead, but he did, and it's just kind of hard to. I don't know. The aero blocking and the having aero in a Cup car is just different. But speaking of that, and I-44, Carson Hocevar has really been a light switch one way or the other. But he really impressed everybody down here years in 2017, 18, and 2020. And it's really cool to see how much he's matured and still hits everything but the pace car, but he's fast, and he's got a lot of raw talent. And I think I'm just going to be shocked if he doesn't win a race this year, but it's another guy kind of moving up out of here. And there's a big pavement race tonight in Wisconsin, and a lot of Cup stars are in that. So it's cool to see how many guys are going back asphalt late model racing. And, hopefully NASCAR keeps pushing these guys to get out and go race short tracks. So another big shout out, Ryan Gilmore and, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the other guy's name. But both are in the top 10 in NASCAR points right now between Salina and Monette and Mitch Keeter. And Mitch got a J2 car. So they're in a B mod, and it's $30,000 for them to win the national championship.
Wow.
Not counting all the recognition. You remember all the stuff we were at NASCAR I-44? Well, you've got Salina, Oklahoma, and Monette very, very close. I tried talking to some other guys. I'm like, there is a really good payout for this. It's not the $140,000 that Larry Phillips won, but it's $30,000, which is, it's more than a regional championship pays on dirt, and you're racing 2 racetracks, basically weekly racing. Those guys got a legit chance. They're in the top 5, I think, now of knocking that off. They're going to have to pay attention and look at that format, and really going to be, that's going to come down to the wire. They got, what do we have, 6 to 8 weeks left of points for that. So if you're a local race fan, you need to be watching that. It would be cool to see somebody win another national championship out of this area, on NASCAR. It's been since 1996 since that's happened, so it's been 31 years. But really be interesting to watch that and see if those guys can do it, because they're going to have a good car count. Now it's up to Ryan needs to call every friend he has and get them to race with him to get his car count up, because if he can get 30 cars at Monette and Salina and get his car count up, Mitch Keeter as well, the only problem those two are going to have is they could hurt each other, because they're both up there. They're racing head to head every night, but if you're a B mod guy, get your butt down there and help them out, if you can, and it just the NASCAR points and the way that is, it's a pretty cool deal. So pretty awesome to see that we got some local guys doing that. And you knew that, you have the talent. You go to Springfield and watch the talent at Springfield in the B-Mod class. You go to Monette, you go to Midway, you go to Lucas Oil. There's a lot of really good talented race car drivers. So, James Thompson's went back to B-Mods and really dominant this year at Springfield. But, Chris Jackson shows up any time and you can see what happens. So, cool to see that. A little bit different that a lot of people probably aren't paying attention to. But if you see the NASCAR standings coming out, that's something to keep an eye on the next 6 to 8 weeks.
All right. Have a good trip to Illinois, and good luck at Sycamore and Macon this weekend.
We'll go to the bull rings. I know Macon's about the size of the dome, so get a little dome practice in there at Macon this week.
That's going to do it for this edition of Willard's Wisdoms from the studios of LEB TV, brought to you by Schaefer's Oil and by Lakeside Auto Repair. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you again soon.